I'm young, I'm attractive, I'm strong, I'm having success. I'm looking at females differently. 10, 15 years ago, it's like, oh, her ass is fat, I want to fuck. Now it's like, fuck you, you're worth nothing. It becomes different. It becomes like, damn, you know.
What do you think you can do to change your trajectory or your interactions?
You're looking at value and
the women that are not fulfilling what you're looking for.
I think I have to attack the system that's creating and manufacturing those women.
Welcome to Milfshake, where mom life meets realness. I'm Tiff. Hey y'all, what's up, what's up, what's up? We got my girl Goldi.
Hola.
And we have a special guest today. This is Smart Guy.
Absolutely.
What would you like us to call you today?
Wait, I thought I was gonna read my intro. Hold on, where's my intro at, man? I didn't get the intro. Hold on.
You didn't give us no intro.
I did. Hold on.
Okay, hold on, y'all. He got an intro.
Oh, dang, this shit long in the motherfucker.
Put that. We should have had that on the screen.
Right.
Should have bang.
Yeah, I didn't know that was
Woo. All right, we got about 20 minutes to read this. Here we go. Born and raised in the heart of Harlem, Smart turned a life of chaos into a mission of purpose. With a mother who was battling addiction and a father who was never in the picture, he entered the foster care system at a young age, learning early what it meant to survive without a safety net. Those years of instability and abandonment led him down a path that landed him behind bars, but prison became the unexpected turning point. It was there that he discovered his voice, his discipline, and his vision for a different future. Today, Smart is a rapper, motivational speaker, boxer, and community activist, using every platform available to uplift the communities that shaped him. His music tells stories of struggles, resilience, and redemption, while his work in schools, youth detention centers, and nonprofit programs inspire young people to fight for their dreams instead of fighting for their circumstances. This is achieved through his charity initiatives, providing mentorship, resources, and hope. Smart is committed to breaking cycles and building futures. What was once defined by pain is now a movement defined by purpose. Smart stands as living proof that no starting point is too low, no past is too broken, and no dream is too distant. Harlem raised him, hardship redefined him, and now he's using his platform to make sure the next generation does not have to learn the hard way. Okay. I like that. I like that. Just reading that gave me a lot of background on you that I think will help guide our conversation.
No, for sure. Yeah,
definitely.
For sure.
So we're going to dive into learning more about Smart. But before we do that, maybe you can help us out with a bit of advice.
Okay, so we have a question from our lovely viewers, and the question is, my girlfriend and I are pretty solid overall, but lately I feel emotionally shut down when we disagree because she gets defensive fast. I don't want this to become a pattern. How can I address it without her feeling attacked? Okay, so the girlfriend gets defensive fast and he just shuts down. I'm trying to see.
So the girlfriend gets defensive.
The girlfriend gets defensive when they disagree, and that causes him to emotionally shut down.
I say tell her you don't like the way she talking to you. Or, again, sometimes knowing who you're dealing with allows you to get ahead of something, right?
True.
So if you know, let's say for instance, you know your daughter gonna fuss out if she don't get to watch her favorite show at 7. Mm-hmm. Maybe you do your best to let her watch it, or you start explaining to her, okay, baby girl, we're not home tonight, but it's nothing to get upset about. Maybe tomorrow we'll record it or something and we can watch it tomorrow. So for one, I would say trying to get ahead of and showing that you truly understand and know your partner, but then also leading by example. So when she has something that she wants to address to you, you model how you want her to respond. You know, don't just shut down, because when you shut down, nobody can validate or understand your feelings if you don't express them. And I know that men oftentimes speak to, like, y'all don't have anybody to talk to or be honest with about how you're feeling, and you're not allowed to feel weak, for lack of better words, or to even feel anything or be emotional in any sort of way. So I think that having the right partner that makes you feel safe to do that is important.
Yeah, I mean, every relationship is different, right? And everybody's starting point is different. Everybody's first impressions were different. And a lot of times women emotionally internalize things before they vocalize. And a lot of times, by the time it gets to that point where there's this response, it's something that happened early on, you know.
Like a build-up.
Yeah.
It's not just that one thing.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. So I think communication is important. I think not isolating the issue with that just issue. And I think they should have like a conversation and talk about whatever elephant he may not know is in the room.
That's true.
And what are y'all disagreeing on too? Because not y'all doing dumb stuff like the seat up and the toothpaste. Like, are these real heavy disagreements?
True. Because that's one thing too. When people ask for advice, even in these columns, right? They don't always say what they're doing, right? Because what if he got a problem with everything and he's addressing everything, like, hey, I just want to talk about, when you left out for work this morning, you didn't give me a kiss.
Right.
Hey, when you went on your lunch break, you didn't call me. Hey, when you got off work, I said, you didn't do X, Y. Like, are you nitpicking? And that's why she's blowing up. You know what I'm saying? So, just creating that environment.
But then, I think having an end game too, right? Like, a lot of times people don't have purpose with their relationships. So because there's no purpose, there's no clear destination or direction for the relationship, these small things become large, right? Pause. So I think in that situation, the details, nobody never know the details. I think communication is important.
Absolutely.
I think not worrying about the small stuff, thinking about what's the end game, what's the bigger picture, and then having a conversation and putting together a game plan that's gonna get them to that destination.
I think a lot of things of what you're speaking to, also even thinking about your bio, I read something on social media the other day. It was like a lot of the problems we go through in adulthood or even in your relationships are based on what you experienced when you were a child. Right? Because that man came from one home, and then that woman came from another home where different homes may have had different values, or, maybe she grew up around people being defensive, and that's all they did was yell and fuss. And maybe he grew up around healthy communication, and sometimes we don't realize how we're carrying that baggage and the experiences of our past into our adulthood.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. But a lot of times it's all about, learning, right? And having guidance from both. You can't raise a child. A woman can't raise a child by herself, right? And
we do it a lot, though.
And
we shouldn't.
You can't.
Why can't you?
I got you. Let me land. So, a woman can't raise a child by herself. She could just maintain a child, right? And to raise a child, you need both feminine and masculine energy, and it has to be authentic feminine energy, meaning it can't be a man acting like a woman, and it can't be a woman acting like a man, right? So you need that that fusion of masculine and feminine energy working as a coalition simultaneously in that household to actually raise that child, because there's certain morals and principles that the woman is going to teach through the femininity, and there's certain sternness, durability that the man is going to teach through the masculinity. So a lot of times, not coming from a home that has both roles working together, you grow up, unaware, insufficient, right? And then if you have trauma, man, that just amplifies your level of unawareness. So then you grow up, and then now you're in relationships, but it's like the blind leading the blind.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I want to just add to this. We got to be careful, because racism and white supremacy is also a major factor in our relationships. This is why we don't have majority strong black family with a man at the head of the household and a woman in there playing her natural role. So when you look at media, entertainment, blogs, podcasts, TV shows, it's really the blind leading the blind. Women are so adamant about speaking foolishness, and men are so adamant about speaking nothing, right? And now you have people that are in real relationships and have real families and need real advice. And if you're a woman giving advice not from a foundation of wisdom, then the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, definitely. Some people definitely just talk the talk.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I agree with the idea that a woman can't raise a child, or that a man can't raise a child, because it does happen, right? Unfortunately, some parents pass away, right? So unfortunately, in reality, some families do break up. So I think that Is it the best thing for the child to have both?
No.
I do. I think
Oh.
for them to have both father and mother, masculine, feminine. Yes, I think that is great for a child. But every father and mother relationship is not always the perfect and the healthiest or the best thing.
Give you an example.
You know what I'm saying?
And give you an example, right? Because I don't want you to misconstrue the difference between raise and maintain, right? And it's not to discredit any, and I think if more women understood this, they'd be more careful with pregnancy and giving birth to a child, and they'd be more patient and empathetic when it comes to dealing with the child's father, right? So if you're single and that daughter is raised up, right, or maintained in that single household, and she never sees you with a consistent man, husband, none of that, right? And she doesn't see you be nurturing or be patient or anything, right? She just sees you paying the bills, working hard, doing what you're doing, right? When she grows up, how is she gonna know how to be nurturing? How is she gonna know how to be empathetic and patient and be a woman to a man? There's no example for that, right? And the reality is, if black women remove the ego given to you by the system, so not to sound too preachy, right? But we got to understand racism. So white people, white men, they fear being genetically erased by us. So they said, okay, we're going to create a system that allows the woman not to be dependent on me, but to be dependent on the system. So you create the false sense of confidence that you're actually doing everything, but there's some insufficiencies in your child. And then when that child grows up, it's just a cycle. So yes, you did everything. You paid for school, you put clothes on the back. That's not raising a child. That's just maintaining a child, right? So, and I think, and shout out to the mothers out there who try to carry both loads, but you have to understand that it's impossible, and you have to seek out that masculine balance. Could be a coach, it could be a guidance counselor, it could be a wrestling coach.
It should be the father though.
It should be, right? But
so that there, accountability needs to be held then, because I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of things I see, it's always the woman's fault.
Mom, right? But then, okay, no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I get your example
Yeah.
of women being dependent on the system, but then I feel like that the relationship and the man and the seeing her be in love, that's like one aspect of the child. Like as a mom, we can nurture the child, we can
Most
communicate, we can have emotional support, we can
Yep.
apologize, we can erase past traumas and triggers and know the right way to upbring and raise a child, but the whole relationship would just be like one gray area that she won't have if it's not like a 2-parent household.
you can't. So the most important thing for us is to understand systemic racism. That's the most important thing, right? You can't do it without me,
So why leave?
right? Check it out. You can't do it without me. You can't, right? So when you understand that, in order to understand that, you have to understand the value of the man. You have to really understand the value of the man.
The man has to understand the value of the man too. But go ahead, cook up.
Listen, this pot doesn't need no seasoning.
Cooking, y'all.
I'm full, right? So you have to understand the value of the man. You have to. And then when you understand the value of the man, anything that is to supplement that man's presence pales in comparison, because you need the man. You don't need what the white man gives you, okay? Now, when we understand systemic racism, right, it's designed to make me and this brother over here look like we don't exist. We're not valuable, we're not important. There's nothing. I can do without you. I can do everything without you, right? And when you understand your role and how you play that role, then you're gonna think differently about your approaching a relationship. Your role as a woman is wisdom and balance, right? So, and your love has to come in 3 phases. What's the first phase of love? It's informative love. You're informing this man that, hey, you're the leader, you're the protector, you're the provider. But how does that man lead, right? He has to have a relationship with God. You're informing him, right? How does he provide? How does he take care of all the bills? He gets provision from God. But if you're conditioned not to talk or have a conversation, which you are, because of the system that we're in, you don't even have these conversations. So even if you think you're being a ride or die or supportive, you're just enabling him because you're not pointing him in the direction of God. So now the second phase of love is what? Unconditional. Because he needs a period of time to retain what you're saying, analyze it, and then go through his own period of trial and error, developing a relationship with God and getting provision from God. And he needs time. He needs like a probation period. Give the motherfucker 90 days, 6 months of unconditional love and informative love. Because now with that combination, he's able to start to look up and get provision from God, right? And then the last phase of love is tough love, which is informative love. It's tough love, which is accountability, right? Mm-hmm. Now it's like, okay, dude, you gotta handle your business. Mm-hmm. But you're conditioned to lead with the last first. You out the gate come with this tough love and accountability, and it's like, wait a minute. Or you come with this thing where you're enabling him. You think you're holding him down, and you're just doing just that. You're holding him down instead of lifting him up and holding him up. And I think when you understand how powerful your role is as a woman in the relationship, you should know, because you gave birth, right? So you should know how much power you have as a woman and understand how that power is manipulated by white men to keep you from valuing me. And once you don't value me, then guess what? We don't create families. See? And you have to have empathy. Wisdom and empathy is important, because if you have empathy, then you have patience and you say, okay, well, I know this dude is sleep. He ain't dead. He just sleep. I'm not gonna say he ain't shit. He's a god. He just don't know. It's like Superman, when they had Superman locked up away from the sun. He started getting sick and frail.
Right.
Feel me? As soon as he put in the sun, he started flexing, right? So we, make a long story short, we need black women to understand that this is war. In relationships, our relationships are attacked by everybody else.
And us too.
Yeah, for sure. But so if black women said, hey man, fuck this. We love black men. Fuck that. We love y'all.
And we do.
Yeah.
We
but,
do.
But love has to be nonverbal communication as well, right? And it has to be an internal conversation with yourself, removing the ego inserted into your subconscious mind by the white man to make you think that you can raise this child by yourself.
I think the thing is that we don't want to raise children by ourselves. That is not a desire. I don't think any woman gives birth and
so
it's like...
If we reel it back and take the children out of it for a second and go back to marriage, right?
Yeah.
Is there a such thing as like a valuable marriage, and does that exist in the black community? Like,
of course, but you got to understand systemic racism. You can't subtract racism from anything that we're involved in, because it's like a sniper hidden in the room, and as soon as you progress, pew, you get shot down, right? You got to understand, you're conditioned to believe that you could do it without me, and I
wouldn't say it's
just hear me out. You're conditioned. So even if we agree to disagree, sometimes it happens, right? You're conditioned to believe by the white man that you can do it without me because of government assistance, because of corporate America, and because of they strategically made things easier for black women to take you out of your natural state of dependency on the black man. And then when you talk about religion, the infiltrated religion too, because when you go to church, you're not being taught your role as a woman and how to make sure that I'm playing my role as a man. There's no real plan. There's no real set agenda. And if we're just being real, you're when you add in social media, when you add in surgery, BBLs, big booties, attention, DMs, now your ego is engaged in such a way that nobody even wants to marry you. And then you don't even realize until it's over. And then you ended up lonely, single, divorced, a lesbian, fucked up, right? And that's the plan. And at the end of the day, you don't build a family. You don't get married. Marriage, weird. Right?
So do you believe in healthy marriages?
1,000,000%. But it has to be without white supremacy.
So if you took white supremacy off the table, systematic racism off the table, do you feel like...
This should be Wakanda.
Okay.
Because you got to understand, okay, so, all right, let me go to my notes real quick, my bad. I ain't want to forget something, because I think I was skipping over something.
No, you good.
All right, look. So, we're talking about mindset, right? If you're not taught how to provide as a boy, you grow up as a man not being able to provide,
I agree with that.
right? And if there's no system in place to teach you how to be a provider, how do you do it? And then when you think about this, there's so many jokes that black women make about black men living with their mothers, but the same white men that you work for live with their mother. And people from other cultures live with their parents into their fucking 40s, save their money, build good credit up, Indians, Chinese, everybody. And they place standards on us that they don't even subscribe to. So now you're expected as a black man, 18, 19, 21, to leave the home. But is the same requirement placed on black women? No, because that's given to you by the white man. So a black woman living with her mother is not looked at the same as a black man living with his mother.
Because a black man is supposed to be the what?
No.
Why? You just said it.
Because
I thought you said black men should be taught to be providers.
A black man living with his mother, I just told you, the white man lived with his mother too. The Indian man lived with his mother too. Chinese man, Spanish man, everybody.
So I definitely feel like it's a cultural thing.
Because that we're taught not to depend on our family. They want to destroy the black family structure. I'm not supposed to leave the nest until I'm fully focused on flying, right? So the reason why the black woman living with her mother is not frowned upon as the black man is because the goal is to destroy me and to put me out there with rules that nobody follows. That's impossible. Okay?
I feel like in other cultures, there's definitely more sense of community.
Yeah.
A lot of people sticking together. They're building so many businesses together. They're buying property, starting companies together. Yes. But I do think that there's a big breakdown. Like, okay, let's say an Indian woman, right? She may be raised from being a little girl that your job is to be a wife. You're going to get married. She's never taught to go to work and get a job. She's taught that your job is to be a wife, to take care of the home and take care of the children.
Yeah. Get married.
Unfortunately, we don't always have that luxury.
We don't have that luxury because white people need to protect their power structure. So you got to understand, you can't subtract, you can't get away from racism. There's no way. We would like to, and that's even racist, right? So the second you start talking about racism, they're like, oh my God, he thinks he's Malcolm X. No, this is the reality, right? White supremacy is a compensation for their inferiority complex. They're not the majority, they're the minority. They're not the superior, they're genetically inferior. They're recessive, we're dominant, okay? So they have to create things to protect their power structure at the expense of us being the collateral damage.
Mind your mic.
Okay, at the expense of us being collateral damage. So we have to stop letting them place standards on black men that they don't subscribe to. We have to stop letting them place responsibilities on black women that they wasn't even designed to live up to.
So in your opinion, how do you see this being possible? Where do we have to start and where do we have to go?
Conversations like this. First, you have to understand what white supremacy is, and then understanding that, hold on, let me go back to this. Understanding that they feel inadequate and white superiority is a compensation for their genetic inadequacy. Also understanding that their power system goes into economics, education, politics, media, entertainment, law, religion, sex, and war. Sex meaning homosexuality is weaponized as a way to protect against white genetic annihilation. Religion, we taught Jesus is white, Muhammad is Arab. Everybody that follows anything spiritual don't look nothing like us, right? Entertainment, you see scary movies, the first person to die is a black man, like we can't survive, right? Media, entertainment, music, we're the only race of people that has a genre dedicated to annihilation, drill, right? So this is by design. And we have a slave consciousness that keeps us subservient and under their control. So when we understand white supremacy, the purpose of it, and we're still having conversations about racism because it's infinite. Their goal is to stay alive. They believe that if we're doing well, it means their eradication. It means their extinction. So they're going to hate us just because. So to answer your question, we have to understand racism, be unapologetic about it, start understanding CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, neuroscience, meditation, affirmations. What does a real relationship with God look like? Our men need to be looked at as the leaders, the protectors, the providers. We have to create systems to educate them on how to, play that role. Our women have to play their roles. You have to understand what submission means and want to be submissive,
And
right?
Be submissive.
Yeah, and submission means to be in agreement. You're in agreement with the direction that I'm telling us to go in. And then you're using your wisdom to make sure that along that way, if there's anything I don't see, you see and you inform me so we get there smoothly. Okay? So it's important, it's important to know that we're not uninterrupted. It's not like we just black men just don't want to be fathers. Right? And a black man just can't produce and we can't do shit and we no. We're conditioned to think that way. Right? We're conditioned. And when you think of it, it's more easier to see it if you know what you're looking at. And it's my last point, because I know we're gonna go next. I think and another key is you have to have love for yourself. So I have affirmations. Every day I wake up in the morning, I'm in the mirror. I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough. Understand that how you think creates how you feel. How you feel becomes an emotion. That emotion becomes a vibration. That vibration becomes a magnet that attracts things to you, but also repels things away from you. So when you learn to love yourself and live in that vibration, the things that don't love you can't come around you. Because the love you have for yourself creates a vibration so high, it's repelling shit that's not in alignment with that frequency and that vibration. Then you'll start to see other people from other cultures who don't really fuck with you when you start to fuck with you. And then when you start to fuck with you, then you got to stop letting other people dictate how you fuck with you. Right? How you deal with your man and how you have this relationship. And understand, if you're wise, and you should be at this point in your life, you say, okay, well, I don't want this. So if I don't want this, why am I not attracted? If you can do everything, why are you not fixing that problem and not having a man?
I feel like we talk about that a lot on the podcast when it comes to like letting social media dictate what you're doing, who you are, and how you operate in your own personal life. So we talk about that a lot when it comes to just trying to hone in and realize this is an app on my phone. That I pay the bill for. I close it, and then we have this real interactive world. A lot of people don't have that. For a lot of people, the internet is their world. Like, they can never sit here and have a conversation because it's like, okay, what am I supposed to say? Let me look at my phone and follow trending topics. How does she feel? And adopt a personality. So I feel like when it comes to that,
it's the blind leading the blind. Women that don't know shit about nothing, teaching other women shit about nothing. Right? So the reality is what you do and how you move, you're never going to be chosen by a husband. You don't choose the man chooses you. And you think because the version of you that you put out is attracting the men that are choosing you for all the wrong reasons, that you somehow control this dynamic. Just because somebody wants to fuck you don't mean they're going to fuck with you. See, it's a difference. And you're not even taught to value putting yourself out in that way, because for real, you have insecurities. So you lead with your sexuality, you lead with the external, but because internally you empty, you don't have a fucking clue, right? Because you're not under the guidance of God, let alone a man. You're under the guidance indirectly of the white man. You heard? So, and then understanding what's your role, what do you, because people have this topic all the time, right? What does the woman bring to the table?
I hate that question.
No, it's a beautiful question.
That's a terrible question.
It's an amazing question. The problem is you got stupid people asking the question and even stupider people trying to answer the question. Okay? I told you, what's a man's role? So it's 50-50, right? What's a man's role? Protect, provide, maintain. What's a woman's role? Wisdom and balance. What you bring to the table is wisdom and balance. Also, the multiplication of my finances, the protection of my finances. You're supposed to multiply the money and secure and protect the money. That's your role.
So at what point of life do you feel like it's realistic for both parties to fully play their role? Because every woman is not going to know how to triple some man's money.
But
every woman is not going to have wisdom at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 years old. So what point in life is this realistic for?
Realistic is, what do you mean? It's realistic now, you see? So you're born in that nature, you're born to do that. You're born with wisdom. We can't speak for nobody else.
I don't think everybody's born the same.
No, black people, no, we are.
Everybody's not born the same.
No.
Everybody's not born with the same level of intelligence.
We are.
Same level of skills.
We are.
Okay, so if you have a person who has
Listen, let me tell you.
a disability or mental illness, you still think they all have the same level of...
Listen,
Okay.
that's why I said we got to subtract white supremacy. You heard? We born as gods and goddesses. We're born, from birth, they start fucking with us. From birth. From when you use the baby, the ultrasound, all that shit is designed to fuck up frequencies. You heard? So from birth, they start, even before, when the baby's in the belly, you think that ultrasound is just, that shit radiation, that shit fucking with the baby. Then when he come out, them shots, and they fucking with us from rip. We are superior people, okay? So it's in our nature to be who God created us to be. So out the gate, as a woman, you're born with wisdom.
Even if they've been fucking with us since the ultrasound?
1,000,000%. Right? So now the key is to have leadership and conversations that don't allow white supremacy to be the foundation of the direction of the conversation. Meaning like, okay, as a woman right now, you can start where you stand and then stand where you start. You can no longer say, I'm subscribing to this bullshit that's keeping me fucking single. I need a man. Right? And scream for the Raptors how you really feel and not let your ego put you in a vibrational silence. Because you're not saying I need a man with your mouth. You're saying you need a man with your actions, with your preparation. You're preparing yourself for when that man comes to you. See? And in terms of multiplying finances, your knowledge base, your potential is going to be connected with the man that chooses you. Everything is already designed. The man that chooses you is going to choose you, and you have what that man needs already installed into you, because you're meeting a man that God designed for you to meet, right? But when you go outside of God's approach to being chosen, then you get what you've been getting. Fucked on, heartbreak, and that's it. Something that seems good for now, but it ain't really good, and it's not fulfilling. And as you get older, if you're being real with yourself, it gets scary because you go, okay, this shit ain't, what the fuck? You start looking at tomorrow. Or you want to smoke it away, drink it away, escape, you know what I mean?
Speaking of smoking and drinking, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why don't you drink? Is this new or have you never drank before?
No, it's been a long time. My mother was a drug addict, so I never had a real
The addictive
value
stuff
or
just
respect
turns
for
you
drugs, you
on.
know what I'm
Got
saying?
you.
And a lot of people, so that was one thing. And then a lot of friends I had before I was in the street, a lot of people that I was close with is not here no more. A lot of shit happened to them when they was intoxicated.
That's a fact.
So I'm like, man, I gotta be on point, man. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? I'm paying attention. You know what I mean?
I feel like anything addictive scares me. Like
Yeah.
people
Like,
can
you
be
feel like
addicted
you
to
need anything.
scary.
Shopping.
You could be addicted to freaking gambling,
Yes.
sex,
Yeah, for
alcohol,
sure, for sure.
drugs.
But I feel like in all those different things, people, even when it comes to love,
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna land that plane. Well, because you get to a point where knowledge becomes a necessity at the expense of your youth. So the more older you get, things don't hit the same, right? And I thought things would be different, even for me, myself now, right? Like, I'm young, I'm attractive, I'm strong, I'm having success. I'm looking at females differently. 10, 15 years ago, it's like, oh, her ass is fat, I wanna fuck. Now it's like, fuck you, you're worth nothing. It becomes different. It becomes like, damn, you know.
What do you think you can do to change your trajectory or your
you're
interactions
looking at
with
value and
the women
purpose.
that are not fulfilling what you're looking for?
I think I have to attack the system that's creating and manufacturing those women. I can't keep focusing on just the product. If we keep seeing defective iPhones, we're gonna keep saying, "Yo, damn man, the iPhone, man, fuck this iPhone." Nah, I gotta blow up the factory that's designing these motherfucking
I like that.
iPhones, right? Because it's like a fucking computer chip being put in black women's head, and it's just being,
And you going to the source.
yeah, for sure. And that's destroying the slave consciousness, dismantling this system of white supremacy. So it starts with conversations. I have other things that I can't talk about on camera, right? But I'm focused on that. But I think it's important for women to take accountability and stop gassing each other up. Y'all be gassing each other up. And
How we be gassing? What we be doing? How we be gassing each other up?
listen, y'all know. Look at the Pop Balloon Challenge, right? So I seen the episode of Pop Balloon Challenge, right? And the girl is just, she's an idiot, right? and she's being a dickhead.
The one that comes out?
Or the
No.
host?
I just seen one of the episodes, right?
Okay.
And the girl is like, and the other girls pop their balloon, and they say, yo, why you pop? They asked her, like, why y'all pop your balloon? They's like, oh, because I didn't like how he was talking to her. No, this bitch is a bozo. You trying to defend this chick being a bozo, makes you a bozo, and you gonna be single. Y'all gotta stop co-signing y'all dumb shit. If y'all know, cause y'all know, y'all can't not know, right? Y'all old enough, right? To know what you doing is bullshit.
Everybody don't know.
They do.
If you're
They
talking
do.
to a bullshit woman, then yeah, but if you're not, then what?
Everybody know.
Everybody don't know.
Because it's a fear. That's what I'm saying. It's comfort zone. It's a comfort zone. You know, because
If everybody knew what they was doing and they could strive towards this perfection, the world will be a better place.
No.
A lot of people are unaware of what they're
No.
doing. They don't take accountability. You
One
tell
thing
them when
about
they
God
fucking
does,
up,
I'm
you
saying-
tell them when they're doing something wrong, they're not receptive to it. I could feel a way about a way my homegirl living her life. But if I know her, again, we could circle back to that opening question. When you know who you're dealing with, you know how to handle them, right? I know who's overly sensitive, who I can't tell. Hey, I don't think you handle that properly. Hey, I don't like how you moving. I don't like how you handling your business. You not working towards progress. Some women will get offended by that.
that's your business. Because if you're a friend, you're gonna tell your friend what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And the funny thing about karma and God, right? God will always hit your alarm clock. It just so happens a high percentage of the time when you start to wake up, you lost your youth. See? So we all see no soul is gonna be dead, deaf and dumb and blind. So a motherfucker been doing dirt, you know you doing dirt, you doing wrong. And then when motherfuckers catch you slipping, and they got the pistol in your face, about to blow your shit away, you know what you knew. Oh man, it's too late now. See, everybody knows. It's just what they decide to do with that knowledge. Some people just say fuck it because there's no real accountability. So it's a lot of women that they get to, not saying they whole life, but at some point in their life, they wake up. Now you placed with a decision. And a lot of times, because you waited so long to make that decision, you don't look the best when you making that decision. So you just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna keep fronting.
So taking too long to wake up, live in reality.
Yeah,
and do the
because
right
it's like, yo, man, fuck that. If you talking about marriage and having a family, you gotta start looking at the ceiling like,
So let me
Shit,
ask you
yeah,
this.
yeah.
The women that you've been interacting
that.
with, you're saying that, it's
Fuck.
making you just want to revisit and not even do it. What are some spaces you feel like you can go or put yourself in to meet more high quality women that may...
it's not about that. See, that high quality shit is a myth. That shit is bullshit. It's no shit, high quality man. And we be taking on these attributes the white man want to see, right?
Disagree, though.
No,
I feel like
you
if you just describe the man who was talking to God and has that relationship, I feel like that's a high quality man instead of chasing the niggas on the street who just want to fuck, who doing drugs.
That's
who
an
on the
example
corner.
of what you
got
described
two different
earlier
kinds
would
of
be,
men.
yeah.
You have a man who can lead you. The woman that I'm the man I'm trying to prepare myself for and teach myself for and lay out and attract. That's the man. That's a high quality man who's coming into my life. So you don't feel like that's the same? Like
I don't want to use high quality. I would just say a man that has a relationship with God, because we got to be careful. Again, white supremacy, right? It's designed to divide us. So I don't like to use terms that divide us, and I'm learning this more, right? So I don't believe in high quality woman, high quality man. I just feel in my humble opinion, I feel like we're fucked up overall as a culture, and we need people that have the intelligence, the relationship with God, and the courage to speak about these things and start changing things to make things better for us as a whole. And if I live long enough, then I'm a beneficiary of the work that I'm doing. But I want to leave that work behind.
okay, but
we don't need to keep pushing back. Don't edit this out neither, because we don't have to, and that's another thing, we don't have to create conflict, right?
We're not creating conflict. I'm saying
Yeah,
it's a conversation.
yeah, we keep pushing back. No. This, my views, trust me, my views is my views. We don't need no source, okay? But so, and that's the point, right? We need black women because they're intelligent, and what I'm saying is landing, right? Our women need to understand that we're dealing with a system that is designed to destroy us. And our approach in every area of life, we're being conditioned to be second and not first. So when we talk about podcasts, right? Everybody's doing podcasts. But who's doing the satellite? Who's doing the radio tower? Who's saying, okay, you know what? Let's build a streaming service. We're not working together. We're not.
I know black folks building streaming services.
Listen.
I know a lot.
it's not as
Mainstream.
common.
There was another one, the Black Tube. And
no. What I'm saying is like, we talking about like Google, Netflix, Spotify.
But they all started somewhere, right? Just like Amazon started in somebody's garage. When they started, they probably sounded dumb as fuck. Like,
Yeah.
Now look, multi-million dollars.
Yeah, for sure. But you can't start it with the slave consciousness. So
I ain't got no slave consciousness.
So you right. So we look at like Steve Jobs, right? So Steve Jobs and Wozniak, right? That's the garage. They started in the garage, right? A $2,500 investment. They had a $250,000 investment from an investor, a guy named Mike, right? Which is equivalent to about 1.4 million today. So 1.4 million, they started Apple. And this is Apple. The problem with us is, yes, we have those same humble beginnings.
Mind your mic.
Oh.
You don't want to be banging on it because when they edit it, it'll
Okay.
sound mad.
We have the same humble beginnings, but we don't have the intention and the mindset as those white men do because they don't deal with racism like we deal with it. So they have 52 working partners. So you got 52 people coming together you can't get 20 black people to work together consistently on something, right? And want to own it. So what I'm saying is this is the reality of it. And somebody's going to watch this and understand what I'm saying, right? So instead of everybody saying, yo, podcast, no, streaming service. And then we need to figure out how do we outsource the satellite. I just figured this out yesterday. Google uses this company called Maxar or something like that. And Google outsources their satellites that they use for YouTube. So we need to be thinking, okay, how do I outsource a satellite? How do I build my own service and then create my streaming service with my own original programming? Instead of me having fucking free subscriptions on YouTube, I got my streaming service and you paying a subscription. You feel me? And then now we're creating billion-dollar companies for ourselves in this area of media.
So if
know what I
you
mean?
couldn't find 20 people to work with on this project, right? If you wanted to do the satellite, take that route, would you be willing to collaborate with people from other races?
No.
Or is that something that you
No.
just want to do within your people?
No. The first thing, so everything is steps. The first thing is you have to have conversations. I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for Malcolm X, if it wasn't for Martin Luther King, if it wasn't for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, if it wasn't for the Honorable Dr. Khaled Muhammad, if it wasn't for the Assata Shakur, if it wasn't for Huey P. Newton, if it wasn't for me watching my grandfather, who was one of the founders of the Black Liberation Army. So I had to see it, right? And I can go back and read these books and look at these conversations and get inspiration. So I'm doing the same thing for the next generation because they might have forgot about the Black Panthers. They think the Black Panthers is a superhero. No, right? So the first thing is having an unapologetic conversation about this shit and then teaching our people, okay, look, your relationship, you single because of the white man, but this is why. When you let go of this way of thinking, you're not gonna be single no more.
Even us saying that so much is giving so much power to what you don't want to have power to. If you give like everything that's negative, every downfall in your life, every reason why you're not where you want to give, if you give it to it's the white man's fault, you're speaking so much power into what you don't want power to be.
That's called accountability. Now check it out. You're a woman. If you go to OGBIN and whatever, right? And they say, yo, hey man, your coochie got a fucking ingrown hair on the inside. This is the problem. Why you aching? Would you say, oh man, I'm talking about the bump on my coochie? Yeah. Tell me exactly what's wrong with your coochie so we can get the shit the fuck up out of here. So me talking about white people, listen, first of all.
But to say, I don't know if that matches though, because to say this is the symptom and this is the symptom and this is the symptom, it didn't point at anybody else. It says this is what you have and this is what you're dealing with. It didn't say, now if you say, oh, this is the cause of, you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying for every area that you feel is below or we're not accomplishing where we need to go or I feel like it's been blamed on the white man.
Yeah, I have to. Listen, they got into economics, education, politics, media, entertainment, law, religion, sex, war. Look at any area of human life and the motherfuckers running the show don't look like us.
So you a hustler, right? You're a hustler. You're a young black man. You're intelligent. You do a lot of great things. What do you feel you are doing to kind of overcome these things?
I already overcame it. So again, you first have to know yourself and know who you are, right? So
I'm talking about like tangible things like you're doing. Maybe I know you talk about like platforms and sharing. Like,
what you mean?
What do you feel you are doing for
yourself? I do a lot of community. What you mean?
No, I'm not. You getting defensive.
No, I'm just saying. No,
I'm asking you a question
I'm
to say like if X, Y, and Z is because of X, Y, and Z, and you seem very knowledgeable. You speak very intelligently. I love the things that you're sharing. But how are you? What steps are you taking forward?
So being defensive is healthy because I'm defending myself for credibility. First of all,
but I'm not attacking you, baby.
I don't feel attacked. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I'm not a baby. I'm a man, right? So I'm a self-made millionaire. My mother wasn't in my life. My father was in my life. I've been in prison, been homeless, been shot, stabbed, went through everything. Suicide. I was an alcoholic. I went through every phase of darkness, and I came out of it. And once I started to understand racism, white supremacy, and to be aware of who I am as a black man and the power that God has given me, that's when things started to change. When I stopped looking out the window and I stopped looking for validation from other people who were designed to kill me, that's when I started to look in the mirror and then empower and impact myself. It's also racism to defend white people from what they do. We didn't take away DEI. White people did. We didn't get rid of the minority business development agency. White people did. We didn't create these laws that keep us systemically behind. White people did, right? So when we understand that, that's real, okay? When you think about the laws that's being passed today, they affect us, right? And I get it because we're not taught political science. Like we're not taught. Look, they had trades in schools. They took out the trades in schools. They had sexual education in schools. They got rid of those things. HBCUs are not even owned by black people. You're just an HBCU in name, but not in reality. So even the universities that's supposed to be for us, they can't even teach black history. So how can you be a university dedicated to black people that you can't even teach our natural history? Because if you teach our natural history, then maybe we'll be different. We didn't do that. White people did. So when you understand the problem is the white man, then you stop holding this person accountable incorrectly. So I know the reason why, not saying you, but the reason why she thinks she's a baddie, a bad bitch, that ain't her fault. So I'm not looking at her like she's the reason for that way of thinking. I'm looking at her that she's conditioned to think that way. So we got to reprogram her mind. I'm not looking at my brother like, yo, he's a nigga. I don't like the nigga word. So just because, and he used it 3 times back there, right? I don't look at him, he's just unaware. Because the white man wants us to create attributes that don't empower us as gods. I'm not a nigga, I'm a god. So when I'm saying blame the white man, we know that's the problem. If you don't know what the problem is, you're never gonna solve the problem. You keep thinking it's something wrong with you. But no, it's nothing wrong with you. So white people got us to believe that, okay, line everybody up on a race, right? We're gonna put a 200-pound weight vest on you, break your ankle, mace you, and make you run against everybody. And you lose the race every time, but you so strong, you come in close, but you still lose. You know what you're thinking? Damn, how do I get better with the weight vest? How do I run better with one leg? How do I look through one eye? I'm not doing, you mace me. What are you talking about? I'm not, time out. Hold on, you're not gonna mace me anymore. So white people always try to make black people seem like they're victims when they talk about them as the problem. I'm successful now. So why am I still talking like this?
No, I like that, the point that you made, and I agree with that.
And hold on, I do, and again, it's not wise to talk about what you do. I wouldn't be where I'm at or get so much love if I didn't do shit in the community, right? I do men's groups, I do women groups, I do food drives, giveaways. I have non-for-profit organizations. I got a lot of shit that I do in the hood, off camera, and I've been doing for years. That's why my brand hits so strong, okay? So I go speak at schools for free. I'm, like, for real, I don't get paid to go to schools. I don't have the vendor's license. I got a program in the Bronx. I got a program, we got to do something in Jersey. I got so much shit I'm doing, and I do it for free. And I have the courage to get on this camera, right? Because what is Jay-Z doing besides making a catalog? When I get on this camera, I could talk about anything, but I consistently talk about things that are going to uplift my people. Every time the camera, any interview, you could watch any interview, and there's hundreds of them, okay? And I talk about the same things that help us, right? So that's what my legacy is about. I'm a rapper, artist, boxer, all those things you read. I'm that for real. But I'm black, and African first. Yeah.
That's a great takeaway. I love that takeaway. Before we get out of here, I have a question.
Yeah.
If you could just reel it back to talking about attraction and like affirmations, I feel like people need to hear more of that and go, because it starts with self. Everything
for sure.
starts with self. So what could you speak on more in that aspect when it
Yeah,
comes
so-
to when you wake up, those first couple of minutes in the morning are crucial to how your day is going to go and what direction it's going to go into.
So the first thing is you got to understand white supremacy.
Okay.
Like there's no, see, the thing about it is we're conditioned not to deal with that. It creates uncomfortability, right? It's like a program. So everything is cool. We could drink, do hookah, laugh, talk about shit that don't hold no. So when you start talking about the real shit, it's like, it's the reason why. So we got to first start to understand what is racism, what is white supremacy, okay? What is this power structure? Why do white people do this shit to us? Because they want to stay in power by any means necessary. So that's the first step. Number two, we have to understand our personal biology. There's every thought you think, your body produces a chemical associated with the thought that you think, right? So when you think something negative, your body produces cortisol and adrenaline. We're conditioned to think a certain type of way. We're conditioned to indulge in shit that has no value. Your body's producing chemicals. The second you want to think positive and start to change, like we're talking about, you're going to go through withdrawal, like a dope head trying to kick an addict, right? That acute withdrawal lasts from a couple weeks to a couple months. Then you got protracted withdrawal, which is 7 months to 10 years. You got acute withdrawal and protracted withdrawal. So the second you start to try to level up and change, you're going to deal with that in withdrawal. So be prepared to go 45 to 90 days trying to think good, but feeling like shit. Okay?
And that's from the chemicals your body produced when you were indulging the wrong stuff that...
Not just when you're indulging, when you think a thought. When you think when you think something, your body produces a chemical. This is, but we're not taught how our body works. If you sat here and only thought about shit that make you happy, your body would produce dopamines, melatonin. This is real, right? So we have to understand how neuroscience works, how biology works, how racism works before we even start to say, oh, I'm going to have some positive thoughts, because it's going to be short-lived. That's why I created something called the negative speak fast, where you go 30 days not saying nothing negative. And no matter how you feel, I'm telling you, you're going to feel horrible, but you're going 30 days negative speak fast.
Man,
I like
that's
that.
hard for women.
I like that, though.
PMSing,
Right?
sad,
But
angry.
but what's at stake? See, when you think about what's at stake, then you make the responsible, rational decision. See? And then once you understand that, now you're ready for how you think creates how you feel. How you feel becomes an emotion. That emotion becomes a vibration. That vibration becomes a magnet that attracts things to you. Only think about what you want. Forget about what you don't want. Never speak about what you don't have. You start to hold these mental images of how you want your life to be, right? And then you're preparing yourself to live that life that you feel it should be for you. And you have to live in a season of self-development and stop allowing other things to distract you or deter you from you. You got to be you. And then if you don't know who you are, because you've been told not who you are to believe that's who you are, then you got some internal work to do to identify just who you are and how that version of you needs to be applied to your life. And then when you understand that, now there's a vibration that's going to repel the people that's in the not you version of your life. Right? So when you're used to being this way or being this woman or taking this approach, there's a whole group of people that's in your life because that's a vibration. Once you shift that shit out, it's different. Okay? And then now you start having goals and deadlines for the new you. We going into a new year. So make your New Year's resolutions now. Don't bring the old you into the new year. Right? And then you say, okay, that's just you mentally. When you talk about business, it's different. You got a podcast. Okay, so there's two deals. They got the audio deal and the visual deal. Right? Then you got audio advertisement and visual advertisement. Right? So we need to make sure that we're getting the audio deal, the visual deal. We got audio advertisement, right? And we got visual advertisement. And then we got an ad revenue goal for the podcast. So we need to be doing at least 5,000, 10,000 per episode in independent ad revenue. And then figuring out, because the views on the YouTube don't match the followers on social media. So we have to figure out a way how to integrate the social media into the YouTube. So it should be a YouTube live somewhere when you're doing your episodes so you can build up the followers organically, and then posting a live YouTube link to the social media. Right? And then and then saying, okay, well, we need to do at least, if we doing 5,000 to 10,000 per episode, right? 10 episodes is 100,000. So every 10 episodes that you put out, you should be making 100,000 minimum in independent ad revenue. And when you start thinking like that, moving like that, and structuring your shit like that, then you're going to see people that you work with now that you probably can't work with, because they got to make room for the people that you need to work with to grow the finances where they need to be, just for the brand and the business.
That was like free business
Hey.
gems right there. Do you have anything to add?
No, I think we're going to get ready to get up out of here.
Well,
All right, would you like
that
to
was
share your
great.
socials with the audience so they can keep up with what you got going on?
Nah, they know where to find me, man.
All right.
Well,
thank
with
you,
that being
guys.
said, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, tell us your favorite part of this interview. And until next time, bye.
Peace.